All right, listener, get ready, because today we are diving deep into the world of technical interviews.
Oh, yeah.
You send us Tech Interview Mastery to, help you prep for those big interviews, and we're here to break it down so you can ace that next tech interview.
Absolutely. And you know what's really exciting about this deep dive is that it's not just about, memorizing code or anything like that. It's about, showing that you have a really deep understanding of system design and knowing your way around the cloud and, really being able to think on your feet.
Yeah.
Companies these days, they're looking for more than just, coder. They want problem solvers.
Exactly. And that's where this book really shines. It covers everything.
Everything.
From, how to write that perfect resume to how to navigate those tricky system design questions. So let's start with chapter 1, which focuses on the fundamentals of interviewing.
Yeah. First impressions, they're everything.
Oh, yeah.
You want to walk in or, dial in
Right.
with a resume that just screams, I'm the one. You've been searching for me. And it all starts with showcasing your achievements.
Yeah.
You remember, instead of just saying, worked on back-end systems or something generic like that.
Right.
Go for something, with some impact, like optimized API performance, reducing latency by 30%.
Yeah, you want to quantify that impact.
Absolutely. You want to hit them with those numbers.
Yeah, that's what's going to get their attention.
Exactly.
You know what? I actually once completely bombed a system design interview.
Oh, no.
Because I got so caught up in the technical details.
See?
I totally forgot about the user experience.
Oh, that's a good point.
And it's a good reminder that those non-functional requirements, they're just as important as the technical one.
Oh, absolutely. You got to see that bigger picture. Now, chapter 1 also covers all the different interview formats you might encounter.
Okay.
You might have a quick phone screen, a challenging online assessment, maybe on a platform like LeetCode.
Right.
Or even a panel interview where you're facing a whole team of people.
Oh, wow.
Being ready for anything, that's key.
Yeah. For those phone screens, concise and impactful answers are just super crucial.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got to grab their attention right from the start.
For sure.
And panel interviews, man, those can be so intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
It's so many eyes on you. Remember to engage with everyone on the panel, not just the person asking the question.
For sure.
Shows that you're a team player.
Exactly. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's jump into chapter 2, where the book dives into programming prowess.
Okay.
Now, you're probably pretty familiar with the usual suspects, Python, Java, languages like that. But let's focus on, how those algorithmic thinking skills apply across the board, no matter the syntax.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing a specific language. It's about being able to, think like a programmer.
Yes.
Break down those problems and then, come up with those solutions.
Precisely. And you know what? Speaking of problem solving, the book, it, digs into a classic interview question. Reversing a linked list.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine you're given a linked list. You need to reverse it. Now, you could go, iterative, step by step, following a recipe.
Right. So iterative is kind of you're taking that scenic route.
Yeah.
You're enjoying the process as you go.
Exactly. But what if you went recursive?
Okay.
That's where things get elegant.
Oh.
But potentially a little tricky. It's all about, understanding that trade-off between, efficiency and elegance and being able to explain, your approach.
Right. So recursive is you're taking that shortcut.
Yes.
But you got to be careful with those shortcuts because sometimes they can lead to those unexpected detours.
Exactly.
If you're not careful. So understanding both approaches is crucial.
Absolutely.
All right. Now let's move on to chapter 3, which is all about system design.
Yeah, system design deconstructed.
Okay.
This is where you get to really show off your ability to think big picture. You're not just coding a single function here.
Yeah.
You're designing these entire systems that can handle millions of users and terabytes of data.
This is where things get really interesting,
Yeah.
It's not just about writing code that works. It's about designing systems that are scalable. Reliable and can handle whatever the real world throws at them.
Right. And a key concept here is availability, right? We all know how frustrating it is when a website crashes.
Oh, for sure.
Or an app just stops working. So how do you design systems that are practically bulletproof?
Right.
That's the question.
Well, the book uses that memorable number of nines table to define availability. So 99.9% availability means that, a system is down for less than 9 hours a year.
Okay.
99.99% availability means less than an hour a year.
Wow. So those extra nines, they make a big difference.
Oh, they make a huge difference.
Yeah. And it directly relates to, system reliability, which is just like so critical for any tech role.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, the book also touches on proxies, forward and reverse proxies.
Right.
And it can be a little bit confusing, to wrap your head around at first.
Yeah.
But the real world examples that they give really help to make it click. Like, a VPN is like a forward proxy. It's masking your identity. And then a load balancer is like a reverse proxy.
Okay.
It's distributing traffic and preventing those, server meltdowns.
Right. I like those analogies.
Yeah. It's all about connecting those like abstract concepts to something that we can like grasp.
Absolutely. Now let's get into the ever-evolving world of databases.
Okay.
SQL versus NoSQL, the classic showdown.
Yeah.
The book, it cites the Stack Overflow Developer Survey, showing that both SQL and NoSQL databases are super popular these days.
Yeah.
Choosing the right tool for the job is what matters.
Right. It's like picking the right ingredients for, like a recipe.
Yeah.
You wouldn't use fish sauce in a chocolate cake, would you?
Certainly hope not.
Okay, good.
And speaking of recipes, the book serves up a fascinating design challenge.
Okay.
Designing a URL shortener, like tiny URL.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we use every day. But have you ever, thought about what goes on behind the scenes to make that work?
I've always wondered how those short URLs actually, work. It's like magic, squeezing all that information into such a tiny little package.
Yeah, it is pretty clever. The book breaks down the functional and non-functional requirements.
Okay.
Which is really helpful for tackling, any complex problem, really. And it gets into, some really neat technical details.
Like discussing using base62 encoding.
Wait, hold on. What's base62 encoding again? I'm a little...
Oh, it's basically like a secret code for numbers.
Okay.
So instead of just using 0 through 9, base62 includes uppercase and lowercase letters, giving you way more possible combinations in a shorter space. It's like packing a suitcase really efficiently.
So it's about squeezing more information into that tiny URL.
Exactly.
That's pretty clever.
Now, what about those custom short URLs? The ones that users can choose themselves.
Oh, yeah. Those seem like it'd be a total nightmare to manage.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Probably.
Custom short URLs, they add another layer of complexity.
Okay.
The book explains, why they're more challenging than those fixed length ones, especially when it comes to, database lookups and the potential for collisions. It's a fascinating trade-off between, what the users want and the technical complexity.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. Resumes, programming languages, system design, even, dipped our toes into databases. But you know what's up next?
What's that?
The cloud.
The cloud.
Chapter 5 takes us there.
Yes.
And we're not talking about those, fluffy white things up in the sky.
No.
This is where things get really exciting.
Absolutely. The cloud is revolutionizing the way we build and deploy software.
Yeah.
And the book, it does a fantastic job of breaking down those basics, like cost effectiveness, reduced maintenance, and increased capacity.
Right. It's no wonder that businesses are flocking to the cloud.
It's true.
But let's be honest, for those of us who aren't, cloud experts, it can feel a bit overwhelming at times.
Absolutely. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so helpful that the book really focuses on those 3 main service models.
Okay.
IaaS, PADOS, and SaaS.
Right.
And it provides real-world examples of each.
So for IaaS, it's like renting virtual machines from providers like AWS.
Exactly.
Giving you that control and flexibility.
Yeah.
PaaS, on the other hand, is about using platforms like Heroku,
right,
which makes developing apps easier and faster. And SaaS, that's our everyday stuff like Google Workspace, where it's all about that easy collaboration and access.
You nailed it.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
And to really solidify those concepts, the book uses those examples to illustrate, the key differences between them.
Okay.
It's about understanding, the level of control and responsibility that you have versus what the cloud provider manages.
So it's like choosing the right level of service at a restaurant. Do you want that full fine dining experience where you control every single detail?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to grab a quick and easy meal where, someone else takes care of everything?
perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of balance, the book also briefly mentions DevOps, emphasizing its importance for faster, more reliable software delivery. I know that's like a hot topic in the tech world these days.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's talking about DevOps.
Yeah, DevOps is all about, breaking down those silos between development and operations teams.
Exactly.
Fostering that collaboration and automating those processes to really streamline software delivery.
And that brings us to the CI/CD pipeline.
Yes.
Which the book connects to automation and efficiency in software development.
Think of it as like a well-oiled machine, right,
Yeah.
for your code. Continuous integration. It ensures that code changes are, constantly being integrated, tested, and validated.
Yes.
Continuous delivery. It automates that release process,
Exactly.
allowing for those frequent, reliable deployments.
It's like having a dedicated team of robots working tirelessly behind the scenes
Yeah.
just to keep that software flowing smoothly.
From development to production. Yeah. Right. This deep dive is really starting to paint a clear picture
Yeah,
of what it takes to really succeed in a tech interview.
for sure.
We still got so much more to cover. Get ready, listener, because in part 2, we're going to be tackling even more challenging concepts.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be talking about things like designing a web crawler
Ooh.
and exploring the intricacies of those massive systems like Amazon and Twitter. You won't want to miss it.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into tech interview mastery. Last time, we explored those, fundamentals of interview prep, dove into programming prowess, and even touched on the power of the cloud.
Yeah, it was a lot. Are we ready to tackle even more of these interview challenges?
Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
All right, so I'm especially intrigued by this next topic, designing a web crawler.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, it's something that's always kind of fascinated me, those behind-the-scenes heroes of the internet that power, our search engines.
Right.
So much more.
It is pretty amazing. The book does a really good job of breaking down those design considerations. We're talking, crawling frequency, handling duplicates, even dealing with the sheer volume of data these things have to process.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
It is.
So it's not just about, grabbing web pages.
Right.
It's about, intelligently navigating this vastness of the internet, making sure you're not, crawling the same content over and over.
Yeah.
And then, handling those billions and billions of links.
Exactly. It's like, being a digital explorer, kind of charting out these uncharted territories of the web.
I like that.
And to really make sense of all of that data, the book dives into a modular design.
Okay.
So you've got, components like a URL frontier, a DNS resolver, a fetcher. You even have a content scene module. It's pretty cool.
Wow. So it's a lot more complex than I initially imagined.
Yeah.
But that modular approach, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like breaking down a giant puzzle into smaller, more manageable pieces.
Exactly. And speaking of breaking things down, the book also differentiates web crawlers from web scrapers.
Okay.
They both deal with web data, but their purposes are pretty distinct.
Yeah. What's the key difference there?
Yeah.
I always get those two mixed up.
Well, you can think of it this way. Crawlers, they're all about breadth.
Okay.
They're designed to index these vast amounts of data. It's like casting a wide net to capture as much information as you can.
Okay.
Scrapers, on the other hand, they're about depth.
Okay.
They're going after specific information on those web pages.
Yeah.
For extraction and analysis.
So it's like casting a wide net versus using a laser pointer.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, crawlers are those explorers. And scrapers, they're those specialists.
Okay, I like that. I think I'll be able to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for a real-world system design challenge?
Oh, yeah, always.
All right, one that could pop up in your next interview.
Sure.
How about this? Designing Amazon.com's database.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
Think about the staggering number of visitors.
Yeah.
That endless product catalog.
It's huge.
All of those orders being processed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a system that's operating at a truly massive scale.
Massive scale.
Okay, that is a challenge.
Yeah.
It's hard to even wrap my head around the amount of data that they must be dealing with. Where do you even begin with something like that?
Right. The book provides some really great insights into, how to even approach a problem of this magnitude.
Okay.
First, you got to think about data partitioning. It's not about one giant database,
Yeah.
It's about carefully like structuring and distributing that data across multiple systems to be able to handle those massive loads.
So it's like organizing a giant library.
Oh, yes.
You wouldn't just, throw all the books into one giant room.
Right, exactly.
You categorize them, create different sections, maybe even have, multiple floors or buildings.
Exactly. And then you've got, real-time data processing.
Yeah.
I mean, those orders are coming in constantly.
Right.
Inventory needs to be updated. Recommendations need to be generated. It's like a constant flow.
It's like a digital river.
Yes.
Constantly flowing and changing. You need a system that can, keep up with that current.
And to keep things flowing smoothly, you need efficient indexing.
Okay.
It's like having a super fast card catalog for your database.
Right.
And of course, choosing the right database engine is crucial. The book, it mentions options like MySQL, PostgreSQL, even Amazon's own Aurora.
So many choices.
There are.
It's about picking, the right tool for the job.
Yes.
Just like with those SQL and NoSQL databases we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. Now let's dive into, some database fundamentals that are just crucial for any tech interview.
Right.
Have you ever heard of acid and base compliance?
Acid and base. Like the stuff from, chemistry class.
Well, not quite.
Okay.
In the database world, ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability.
Oh.
It's this, set of properties that guarantee reliable transaction processing in those relational databases.
So ACID is all about making sure that those database transactions are, rock solid.
Yes.
An unbreakable contract.
Exactly. Now, BASE, on the other hand, it stands for basically available soft state eventual consistency.
Okay, that's a lot.
It is. It's, a more relaxed approach.
Okay.
Often used in NoSQL databases, prioritizing that availability and partition tolerance.
So ACID is, strict and reliable.
Yeah.
And BASE is, more flexible and adaptable.
Precisely. It's about understanding those, different approaches to data consistency and reliability.
Right.
And knowing when to use which.
It's like choosing between a sturdy oak table and a comfy beanbag chair.
I love that.
They both have their, pros and cons depending on what you need it for.
Great analogy.
Now, to really, nail those database questions, you also need to understand the concept of, database replication.
Oh, yeah. It's all about ensuring high availability and data redundancy.
Right. So if one database server, goes down, you've got those backup copies ready to take over.
Absolutely. No more website crashes because the database decided to take a break.
Right. That is very reassuring.
It is. It's about building those resilient systems that can withstand those failures. And to really boost performance, caching is your best friend.
Oh, yeah. Caching it's like storing frequently accessed data in a super fast express lane.
Exactly.
So you don't have to, dig through that entire database every single time.
It's like having, a mental shortcut for information that you use all the time.
Right. Exactly.
It saves so much time and effort.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready to move on to another social media giant?
Yeah, I'm ready to tackle anything.
All right, let's talk Twitter.
Twitter.
Designing a system that can handle millions of tweets.
Oh, wow.
Deliver those personalized feeds and keep up with those trending topics. I mean, it's no small feat.
Yeah, it's amazing how seamlessly it all, works.
It is.
I know there's some, serious engineering happening behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And the book kind of delves into those technical details, explaining how, Twitter uses this microservices architecture to break down that complexity into smaller, more manageable services.
So microservices are like those building blocks, right? Allowing you to create this complex structure by, assembling those smaller independent units.
Exactly. And to handle those massive data flows, Twitter utilizes, techniques like caching, ranking algorithms, even asynchronous processing.
So it's about being, really smart with your resources.
Yeah.
Prioritizing, what's important and making sure that, everything runs smoothly, even when things, get a little crazy.
And speaking of crazy, think about searching on Twitter. I mean, millions of tweets being generated every second.
That's a lot.
How do you even find what you're looking for?
Right. It's like finding a needle in a digital haystack.
That's where those, powerful search engines come in.
Okay.
The book mentions Elasticsearch, which is a search and analytics engine that's designed to handle these massive amounts of data, delivering, near real-time results.
It's like having a super-powered search dog
Yes.
that can, sniff out exactly what you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
in this vast digital forest.
I love that.
And then there's the magic of trending topics,
Oh, yeah.
right? How does Twitter even know what's hot and what's not?
Well, it's not magic,
Okay.
but it's pretty close. The book explains, it's this combination of real-time data analysis, caching frequently searched queries,
Well,
and these ranking algorithms that prioritize those hot topics.
so like a popularity contest, but for topics instead of people.
Exactly. It's fascinating,
It is.
how these algorithms capture, the pulse of the internet,
Yeah.
surface those viral moments.
All right. So we've tackled Amazon.
Yeah.
We've tackled Twitter.
Mm.
And now I'm ready for the granddaddy of video sharing. YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on.
I can't even imagine the challenges involved in designing a system
Yeah.
that can handle the sheer volume of videos
Mm-hmm.
that are being uploaded and watched every single minute.
It's truly mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And the book, it highlights, the key design components
Okay.
from video upload and storage, content delivery recommendation engines,
Okay.
even handling those real-time comments and notifications.
It's amazing how seamlessly all those features work together.
It is.
You click play, the video starts streaming,
Mm-hmm.
the comments load up, and those recommendations pop up, enticing you to watch just one more video.
Just one more.
It's easy to take it for granted,
Yeah,
but there's some serious engineering magic happening behind the scenes.
absolutely. And to handle, that global user base,
Mm-hmm.
the book, it emphasizes, the need for a distributed system,
Okay.
utilizing concepts like load balancing,
Mm-hmm.
caching,
Okay.
and content delivery networks.
So it's like having a global team of servers
Yeah.
all working together
Mhm.
to make sure that, those cat videos and movie trailers are delivered
Yeah.
without a hitch,
Yeah.
no matter where you are in the world.
Exactly. It's about creating a system that's as seamless and effortless
Mm-hmm.
as possible
To the user, right.
for the user. Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about the database side of things.
Mm.
Efficient indexing, data partitioning, choosing the right database technology. That's all super crucial
Mm-hmm.
for handling those massive, massive amounts of data.
It's another great example of how, system design is all about that big picture thinking.
Yeah.
Considering all the different pieces and making sure they all work together.
All right. So we've gone from the high-level design of YouTube's system
Mm-hmm.
to these very specific techniques
Right.
for performance and reliability. That's quite a journey.
It is. It is. It's all interconnected, though. Understanding these core concepts is really essential for designing any system,
Mhm.
whether it's a global video sharing platform
Right.
or, a small startup.
You know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed by all this information. It's a lot to absorb,
It is a lot.
but it's also incredibly fascinating.
It is. It is a lot. But remember, this is a deep dive. It's about gaining a deeper understanding of the concepts and challenges involved in designing these systems. You don't have to memorize every single detail. Just grasping, the big picture will give you a huge advantage
Okay.
in those technical interviews.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
So it's not about becoming a walking encyclopedia.
Yeah. Mm.
It's about understanding those core principles
Yeah,
and being able to apply them in a
exactly.
given situation.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and dive into a topic that's a staple in a lot of tech interviews.
All right.
Database questions.
Okay.
The book, it dedicates a whole chapter to this,
Mhm.
covering, everything from basic SQL queries
Okay.
to more advanced concepts like, indexing,
Mhm.
transactions,
Mhm.
normalization.
Database questions are a bit like, those math problems we all dreaded in school.
I know.
But, if you understand the formulas, practice enough,
Yeah.
they become a lot less intimidating.
They do. And the book, it provides this wide range of questions
Uh-huh.
from explaining those differences between relational and NoSQL databases,
Mm-hmm.
optimizing that slow queries,
Right.
to even, writing SQL code to fetch specific data.
It's like having a personal database tutor,
Yes.
right? Guiding you through those tricky concepts and helping you sharpen your SQL skills.
And remember, it's not just about knowing the answers,
Yeah.
It's about, demonstrating your thought process and problem-solving abilities. The interviewer, they want to see how you approach the problem, how you
Sure.
break it down,
Right.
and how you arrive at a solution.
So it's about showcasing those analytical skills.
Yes.
Your ability to think critically and solve problems, logically.
Exactly. Now, are you ready to kind of revisit a topic that's near and dear to both of our hearts?
Oh, you mean the magical world of cloud computing?
Yes.
And DevOps.
Yes, bring it on.
Okay, let's dive back into that.
All right, let's dive back into the cloud.
Right.
Now, remember those three main service models we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS.
Of course, it's starting to feel like second nature now.
Good.
Yeah, it's like IaaS is like renting a car, PaaS is like taking a taxi,
Yeah.
and SaaS is like riding the bus.
Perfect. You got it. And the book does such a great job, giving those helpful real-world examples to really solidify those concepts.
Well-
But there's more to the cloud than just those service models,
Okay.
The book also discusses, different cloud deployment models,
Okay.
public, private, and hybrid.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all.
No.
Right? Companies can choose the level of control, the security, the flexibility they need.
Exactly. It's about tailoring that cloud strategy to your specific needs.
Yeah, and the book doesn't shy away from discussing, the potential drawbacks
Right.
of cloud computing.
Right. Things like security risks,
Yeah.
vendor lock-in, the reliance on internet connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
It's about having that balanced perspective,
Right.
weighing those pros and cons.
Yeah, it's important to remember that no technology is perfect.
Right.
There are always those trade-offs to consider.
Absolutely. So now let's talk about DevOps, which the book describes as this cultural and professional movement that emphasizes collaboration,
Yeah.
automation,
Right.
and continuous improvement.
It's about breaking down those silos,
Exactly.
between development and operations teams
Mm-hmm.
and fostering that more collaborative and efficient, work environment.
And it's really, revolutionizing the way software is developed and delivered these days.
Yeah.
The book highlights, the key principles of DevOps like automation, continuous integration and delivery, CI/CD, and,
Right.
and the importance of, feedback loops.
It's all about streamlining that software development lifecycle, making it, faster, more efficient, and more reliable.
Remember that well-oiled machine analogy we
Yeah.
used for the CI/CD pipeline? DevOps is the team of expert mechanics
Yeah.
keeping that machine, running smoothly and
Yeah.
constantly fine-tuning and improving performance.
It's like this beautiful symphony of collaboration, automation, and continuous improvement.
It is. And speaking of, innovation, the book also covers a relatively new approach to building and running applications in the cloud.
Yeah.
Serverless computing.
Yeah, serverless. I've heard a lot of buzz about that lately.
The hot topic.
Yeah, what's the big deal? What's all the hype about?
Well, with serverless, you don't have to manage any servers.
Uh-huh.
The cloud provider, they take care of all the infrastructure, allowing you to just focus on writing your code. It's a real game changer.
So it's like having a personal chef
Yes.
who takes care of, all the grocery shopping, the prepping, the cleaning,
Yeah.
while you get to focus on, creating those culinary masterpieces.
That's a delicious analogy. And the book, explains those benefits of serverless computing. And it highlights services like AWS Lambda, Azure Functions, and Google Cloud Functions, which are, the leading serverless platforms today.
Okay, so we've revisited the cloud,
Yeah.
explored, the world of DevOps,
Mm-hmm.
and even touched on the magic of serverless.
Right.
It's amazing how much ground we've covered, but there's still more to come, right?
There is. In the next part, we're going to be tackling those all-important behavioral questions,
Okay.
exploring the power of Git and version control,
Right.
and uncovering some hidden gems of knowledge that'll really make you shine in your next tech interview. So stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into tech interview mastery.
We've covered, a ton of ground, from programming puzzles to the cloud, and even, dipped our toes into those vast databases.
It's been quite a journey, but we're not done yet, right?
Oh, no, we've got more to uncover. Remember, those, wildcard questions
Oh, yeah.
that can pop up in any interview?
Okay.
Those general interview questions that, seem simple but can really throw you off guard if you're not prepared.
Right. You mean like the ones that make you think, wait, what does this have to do with coding?
Exactly. But don't underestimate their importance.
Okay.
These questions are all about like assessing your soft skills, your personality,
Okay.
and your ability to think, critically.
So it's not enough to be like, a coding whiz. You also need to be able to communicate effectively, think on your feet.
And demonstrate those, all-important soft skills, the ones that make you a valuable team member.
Precisely. The book, it provides, a variety of these general interview questions and tips for answering them effectively.
Okay.
It covers topics like, your career aspirations, strengths and weaknesses, problem-solving approaches.
Okay.
Even those like tricky ethical dilemmas that can come up in the workplace.
Those ethical dilemmas can be tough.
Oh, they are.
It's like navigating a moral maze, trying to find like the right path when there are so many shades of gray.
Right. But being able to, articulate your thought process and demonstrate like sound judgment, that's crucial. It shows the interviewer that you're not just a code writing machine,
right?
But a thoughtful individual.
Yeah.
With a strong moral compass.
It's about showcasing, your ability to think beyond the code.
Yeah.
To consider the bigger picture and the impact your work can have on others.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on, there's one more concept.
Okay.
The book mentions that I'd like to explore. Pair programming.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had the opportunity to work in a pair programming environment?
I actually haven't. It sounds kind of intense.
It can be.
Yeah.
Two minds
working
together on the same code.
Yeah, like what are the benefits of that kind of like close collaboration?
Well, pair programming can be incredibly rewarding.
Okay.
It's about two developers working together on that same code. Typically, sharing a single computer and keyboard.
Wow.
And it can lead to, higher code quality, faster problem solving, and just like improved knowledge sharing in general.
It's like having a built-in code reviewer, like constantly checking your work and offering suggestions.
That's a great way to put it. It's also like a fantastic way to mentor, junior developers, foster that more collaborative team environment.
So it's not just about, writing better code.
Yeah.
It's about, building those stronger teams, fostering a culture of learning and collaboration.
Precisely. Now, let's not forget about another essential skill.
Okay.
For any software developer.
Yeah.
Git and version control.
Oh, yeah, Git.
The book, it dedicates a whole chapter to this, providing a comprehensive overview of Git. From, like, basic commands to those more, like, advanced concepts.
Git can feel a bit intimidating at first, like with all those commands and workflows.
It can.
Yeah. But once you understand the basics, it becomes like this incredibly powerful tool for managing and tracking those changes to your code, collaborating with others, and even like reverting back to previous versions if you need to.
It's like having a time machine for your code.
Oh, I like that.
You can rewind, fast forward, even create those like alternate timelines. And the book, it does a great job of like demystifying Git, providing those like step-by-step instructions and helpful diagrams to really visualize those Git workflows.
It's like having like a Git guru.
Yeah.
Right? Like guiding you through those complex commands and workflows.
Exactly. And remember, Git is an essential tool for collaboration. So showcasing your Git proficiency during an interview, that's a huge plus.
Okay.
It shows the interviewer that you're comfortable working in those team environments, and you understand, the importance of version control.
Okay, so we've covered general interview questions, explored, the power of pair programming, delved into, the world of Git and version control.
Right.
I feel like we've unlocked the final secrets to tech interview success.
I think we have. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. But before we wrap up this deep dive, there's one more concept that the book mentions that I kind of wanted to explore, the dogpile effect.
Ah, the dogpile effect. Intriguing, isn't it?
It is. What's that all about?
Well, the dogpile effect, also known as the cache stampede problem, occurs when, you have a large number of requests hitting a system all at the same time. overwhelming the cache,
Okay.
causing a surge in requests to those back-end servers.
Right.
It's a common challenge in system design,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with those high-traffic websites and applications.
So it's like a sudden rush of customers all trying to get through the door at the same time.
Yeah.
Causing a bottleneck and potentially crashing the whole system.
Exactly. And to prevent those system meltdowns, it's crucial to design systems that can handle those sudden spikes in traffic.
Okay.
Utilizing techniques like caching, load balancing,
Right.
rate limiting. These are your tools for dealing with those kinds of problems.
It's like having a team of bouncers at the door, right? Controlling the flow of traffic, making sure everyone gets in, safely and efficiently.
Exactly. Now, let's shift gears a bit and explore another kind of fascinating concept from the book, the Hungarian algorithm. Have you ever heard of this one?
The Hungarian algorithm. It sounds like something out of like a spy movie.
Well, it's not quite as glamorous as that.
Okay.
But it's still incredibly powerful.
Okay, what is it?
The Hungarian algorithm is a combinatorial optimization algorithm that solves the assignment problem in polynomial time.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for us in like simpler terms?
Okay, so essentially it's about finding the optimal way to assign a set of tasks to a set of agents, minimizing the total cost,
Okay, great.
or maximizing, the total profit.
So it's like a matchmaking algorithm.
Yes.
But for tasks and agents instead of people.
That's a great way to think about it. And it has applications in a wide range of fields. From assigning, jobs to workers, scheduling deliveries, to optimizing, transportation routes, even matching organ donors to recipients.
It's amazing how those like seemingly abstract algorithms can have such a tangible impact.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
On real world problems.
Now, speaking of real world problems, the book, it also covers a range of other algorithms and data structures that are commonly asked about in those technical interviews.
Like a treasure trove of algorithmic knowledge.
It is.
And it covers, sorting algorithms, searching algorithms, dynamic programming, even those tricky graph algorithms, like, Dijkstra's algorithm for finding the shortest path.
It's a fantastic resource for brushing up on those algorithmic fundamentals.
Yeah.
And practicing those problem-solving skills.
And remember, it's not just about, memorizing the code. It's about understanding, the underlying logic.
Yeah.
And being able to explain your approach, clearly and concisely.
Exactly. It's about showcasing your ability to, think algorithmically, solve those complex problems that tech companies, they face every single day.
Right. And as we wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not forget those all-important behavioral questions.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Remember that those interviewers, they're looking for more than just, technical skills.
Right.
They want to see if you're a good fit, for their team.
Yeah.
If you can communicate effectively, if you can handle those inevitable challenges that come up in any work environment.
It's about, showcasing your personality, your soft skills, your ability to connect with others. It's about, being authentic, letting that passion for technology shine through.
And that's what makes a truly great tech professional. Someone who not only, possesses those technical skills, but also the soft skills and the passion to make a real difference in the world.
Right.
Okay, I think we've covered just about everything.
I think so too.
We've explored tech interview mastery from like cover to cover,
front to back,
delving into those core concepts, practicing those tricky questions, even like uncovering those hidden gems of knowledge that will make you like stand out from the crowd. What a journey this has been.
It's been a pleasure exploring this material with you and our listeners. Tech interview mastery it's a treasure trove of knowledge. Yeah. And I'm confident that our listeners are now well equipped to tackle those technical interviews with confidence and grace.
So listener, remember, it's a journey. Not a destination. Keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep that passion for technology burning bright.
Now, before we sign off, I want to leave you with, a final thought. Throughout this deep dive, we've talked a lot about, technical concepts, algorithms, system design. But let's not forget the human element of technology.
That's so important. It's easy to get caught up in all the technical details.
It's true.
But, at the end of the day, technology is about solving human problems.
Exactly.
And making people's lives better.
Right. So listener, as you prepare for those technical interviews, remember to keep that human element in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the impact, your work will have.
Right.
The problems that you'll be solving, the people that you'll be helping. It's really about, connecting those technical skills to that bigger picture, demonstrating your ability to not just code, but to create something meaningful.
Something impactful.
And with that, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
All right. Sounds good.
Until next time, happy coding.